What is going on, my people? This is the Hidden Wisdom Podcast, episode number 2. Thank you for joining me, and a big welcome for everyone who is new to this channel. Now, this sort of lecture that I'm going to give today, I'm going to be talking about liver flushing. Now, this is obviously a health topic. It's to do with detoxification. Obviously, the true source of knowledge, in my opinion, that I'm holding with this platform is the real knowledge that you get in life is through your own experiences. Now, I want to dedicate this particular lecture for those, especially those people who, they might have a lot of illness going on in their life at this present moment. They might have a chronic inflammation. They might have chronic disease. They're going back and forth to the doctor. They got internal problems in their body. They got external problems with their skin, or just anybody who has chronic problems. I feel that this will benefit you. Now, just as a disclaimer, this is not intended to be used as any sort of medical, any medical advice. I'm not a doctor, but, I don't even, this lecture doesn't even comprehend the medical system. So I'm not here to diagnose, I'm not here to treat any disease, because I don't even really believe in the concept of diseases anymore. So this is just for information purposes, and this is for those who may have read up about the liver flushing. This might be for those who they don't even know what a liver flush is. They don't even know anything about natural healing, but they're looking to get into the natural healing. They've done the allopathic route. It hasn't worked out for them. They might have done it for many years. They might be taking so much medication and they're just getting worse and worse. This is dedicated to you guys. And also, this is for those who are just, they're healthy, they got a healthy mindset, they got a healthy body, but they're just looking to maybe do some maintenance. This is something that's not really taught in our society. Now, this lecture right here, I'm going to be aiming to give you my own experiences, right? Now, I'm going to start off with that because I think it's very important. We can read up on all these other websites. We can read books. We can watch other people's lectures online about how the liver flush works, what it is. And I'm going to get into that stuff, and I'm going to touch on that stuff very briefly. But all the resources are out there, for the information. However, I feel like with platforms today, such as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, I just feel like it's very important for those who are doing the liver flushes or are in the process of doing these liver flushes, like myself. It's very important to give my experiences, what I've experienced from these flushes, right? So I'm going to give you the background. Now, obviously, just generally speaking, my health problems, you can check them out in episode 1 in the welcome video that I created. That will give you a background on where I was at with my health, because it kind of all fell apart for me, and I was facing really chronic internal problems such as sharp stabbing pains, arthritis, had a lot of skin problems, dermatitis, eczema, candida overgrowth, had taken a lot of antibiotics. But obviously, if you want to maybe take a listen more in depth to my story, which I'm not going to get into in this podcast, but like I said in the episode number 1, I did go into it a bit more in detail, so you can check it out there if you want to learn more about what I was going through. But in this episode, I'm going to let you know exactly what got me into liver flushing, how I even found out about it. So yeah, let's get into this. So yeah, I was kind of looking for magic supplements, thinking that they are gonna, solve all my problems. I had chronic dermatitis that just wasn't going away. I think it had been about a year. I had tried so many different things, and I was basically looking at online and seeing that this might be a deficiency for certain vitamins. And, that's how I started off the journey. I think like everybody else, you still go down that allopathic thinking that this pill, this supplement is going to completely heal me, when deep down I knew I had all these issues this small little pill that they sell in Holland and Barrett and places, health food stores, these things are not going to help me. They might help the average person who's doing maintenance with their health. They might actually have a vitamin D deficiency, which is quite common in the UK. But I just feel like I had so many issues at that point. It was just like I was clutching onto the supplement thing so hard that, I was trying all these supplements. I was wasting so much money as well. And it just got to a point where none of it was working, and I was just depressed, really. I had made some changes in my diet, went paleo. Paleo is basically a lot of meat, red meat, white meat. I don't really eat that much fish, but fish can be included in the diet, and a lot of vegetables. And you're basically cutting out all sugars. So there's no sugar in the diet at all, not even fruit sugar, really. It's just vegetables and meat. So I was kind of doing that, and I still had issues. It was a lot of things did go away, I think, because I started eating more vegetables. Certain symptoms I had did die down, but I wanted to get to the root. I wanted to really step it up because I was depressed, because I had eczema showing externally, for the first time in my life, on my face and on other parts of my body. And it's just like, this is getting out of control. And I knew that there is a problem going on internally that I'm not sorting out. So yeah, I'm kind of getting overwhelmed just talking about it, because it was a very difficult time. From the allopathic doctors and that kind of Western thinking, had no answers for me. They had nothing. So I kind of just started going more in depth with my research, and I came across a website called CureZone. Now I started to, obsessively read through posts on there every single day. I was really on this quest. I was on a mission to get to the root cause of my health problems, and stumbled across an article. I think it's one of the main articles that they have on their site, which is about liver flushing. It's about a couple of pages long, giving you kind of an in-depth analysis and observation on how the process mechanically works in the body, giving you diagrams, telling you a bit more about the liver and how it functions, how it's one of the most important organs in the whole body. And yeah, just talking about gallstone formation, talking about how most people have these stones blocking the liver and the gallbladder. And there's also procedures, there's different protocols. There's a hold the clock method that they use, and there's a Andreas Moritz method, which I chose the Andreas Moritz. I purchased his book and stuff. But they just give you a brief overview. I think that website really advocates for hold the clock, which, I mean, I didn't follow that, but that's one of the most popular. I think that's the most popular method that's been used from people who run that website, and from people who are seeking, answers about how to do the liver flush. They mostly, from my experience, people mostly go towards that way and that method. So here I am coming across this information about this so-called liver cleanse, or liver flush as they call it. And they were saying you got to do between 5 and 12. Some people might have to do as much as 30 of them to get their health back completely. And the ingredients of this, it's like you create this concoction. It's 6 days or something. You have to prepare for the cleanse, right? So every day you got to take a certain amount of malic acid, or you have to take a liter of apple juice every single day, which contains malic acid, which softens the stones that are in your liver and in your gallbladder. So yeah, that's the procedure. And then on the 6th day of the cleanse, you fast. I think you do a dry fast for between lunchtime and between lunchtime and 6 o'clock in the evening. And then 6 o'clock you take a dose of Epsom salt with water, and then at 8 o'clock you take a second dose of Epsom salt with water, which kind of moves any obstructions in the intestines. It kind of like acts as a laxative, and also it opens up the biliary network system, like the tubes where these stones are. It opens them up, it loosens and relaxes them so that the stones can move freely. Um, but I'll fucking say this right now. I hate taking that Epsom salts, man. Like, shit. I've I've drank a lot of horrible alcohol, and I've drank alcohol neat, and nothing compares to this Epsom salt and water. It is disgusting. Like, I hope I don't put people off, but I'm just warning you now. If you decide to do some more research and you want to embark on this liver flush journey, that drink is disgusting. Like, I just can't handle it. But I tried to kind of mix it in with stevia. I tried to maybe put coconut water. I just try my hardest to just knock it back. But yeah, it's very hard to take it mentally, and just the taste just makes me gag. But yeah, you gotta take a small dose of that at 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. And then when it comes to 10 p.m., you create a concoction of half a cup of olive oil, and then you also take you have to squeeze the juice out of one big grapefruit, and you mix the grapefruit and the olive oil together, and you shake it up, and then you basically knock it all back at 10 o'clock. You have to knock it all back, and then you have to get into bed straight away and lie down on your right side for about 20 minutes. But yeah, that's the procedure. That's what they promote, and that's how most of the liver flush books work. There's some variations in the different protocols to use, but that's just the one that the Andreas Moritz is the version that I've used. And I still don't follow it down to the T. Like, the next day after the flush, you're supposed to take another dose of Epsom salt at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then at 8 o'clock in the morning you're supposed to take the fourth dose of Epsom salt. I don't take any Epsom salts the day after, because I just find it difficult taking the two on the day of the flush. So, but I've done about 6 of them, right? And I'm still on a journey. I still feel like I need to do a lot more. But yeah, it was just like I came across this Cure Zone website. People were posting pictures of these gallstones, like these green stones that they would eliminate the next day. I'm looking at this stuff like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, it's just this. I looked at this stuff like it was some weird, strange cult of people showing their bowel movements, like, on this website. It's just disgusting at first when I looked at it, and it was just like, whoa, I don't really know what to do. I was so desperate though. I read about liver flushing for a year. I looked at so many people's posts. And then it got to the point where I was so desperate that I said, you know what? There's nothing else that's gonna work for me. I still have all these problems. Let's just do one. And I was scared as well, because they say that there's potential to get a stone stuck, and it causes a lot of pain. Now, obviously, that is really hard to comprehend, because it was just like, I really want to do this cleanse, but then if a stone gets stuck, it's like this fear-based mindset that something might go terribly wrong, and if anything like that happens, you get rushed straight to the emergency room, and the pain is just really hard to deal with. So I was kind of in two minds, and then I decided, you know what, fuck it. I've got nothing else going for me. I'm just gonna get it done, right? And then I think leading up to like the cleanse, maybe a week before, I set my intention. I said, right, next week or the week after, I'm gonna do this cleanse. I'm gonna get the book. I'm gonna order the stuff. I'm gonna really understand how to do it, and then I'm gonna do it in about 1 or 2 weeks. Then I came across this post, right? So I was all fired up. I said, yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna do this. I came across this website that I remember the title being something along the lines of, do you want what did they say? Do you want a colonic with that liver flush? As if to say that, these things are just like, it was kind of talking about, do you want fries with that steak? Do you want fries with your burger? It was like this downplaying the whole procedure. I had read about people saying that they did all these flushes and they were completely cured of all illness and all diseases that they had going on with them. And then when I read this was just an article debunking the whole liver flush, and I was like, fuck. I was like, fuck, man. Like, I just read all of this shit. The whole year, I read all these amazing stories. And then it's like, I come across this article that basically says that the olive oil and, what was it? The Epsom salt and the olive oil basically create soapstones or something in your intestines, and that's what you're actually eliminating. And I was like, shit. And people, and the website, I think it was obviously based on allopathic thinking that was debunking natural healing techniques. And they were just saying the liver flush is dangerous, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And I was just so disheartened. I was disheartened at the end of the day, because I was like, fuck, man. Like, I just did all this research. This was the one thing that actually gave me hope, in that very dark time that I was facing. People were saying that they had cured their dermatitis. People were saying that they had cleared all their acne, and all these symptoms that people had gone, they vanished. And this is not just randomly. This was people were suffering with health problems for about 15 years, or some of them couple of years, 7 years, and then as soon as they did the liver flushing, a series of them, it just completely went away. So I had this battle in my head, and it was kind of like God testing me to see if I went with my own intuition and my own gut feeling, which was do it. You have, go for it, go and do it. You've read so much about it. Deep down, I believed in it. Deep down, I believe in natural cures. But then all this other opposition started coming in my head. It was like the devil whispering to me, saying, don't do it, don't do it, like trying to stop me from regaining my health back. And I mean, I just ended up doing it anyway. I was like, fuck it, man. What do I have to lose? At that point, I was in a lot of pain and stuff, and I just wanted all of this nightmare to be over. So, the first day I did it, I'm gonna give you the experience I had of the first time. Now, I was a bit scared. I didn't know what to expect. Even in the back of my mind, even though I did know that this was real and this had healed people, I thought, I don't have any fucking stones inside me, man. This is all bullshit. Like, I've never seen these stones ever. So it got to the point where did the cleanse, followed the book down to the T. I think the first time I still had the Epsom salts the next morning. And yeah, I was shocked. I got all these green stones out of me. And I was just like, what in the hell is going on? And the thing is, what I noticed is the next morning, I had this state of euphoria almost. It was this condition of euphoric mental state that I had where I can't explain. I felt so light. And what I've heard about people talking about MDMA and taking cocaine and how it gives them this euphoric state feeling, like where they just feel so happy on a deep level. They just had this state of everything is blissed out. I had that once I released these stones. It was such a strange experience, and I think that strengthened my belief in this whole natural thing, because I had the experience. I did the first flush. I got these green stones out of my body, and the way it smelled as well, like I'm sorry if this is too much information, but the smell was this like putrid smell that is not a bowel movement smell. It's not the same. This is completely different. And yeah, it was strange as well, because I forgot to mention this, but the night I actually took the Epsom salt, the first time I ever did it, so I had taken no olive oil or anything at this point, I actually released some stones. I had a bowel movement after the first Epsom salt I took, and I actually released some stones, because obviously, like I said, the Epsom salt actually opens up the biliary network in the liver, and I thought that, yeah, this is already getting something out of me. So the stones had nothing to do with olive oil, because I didn't even take the olive oil by then. But yeah, so and then the next day I had this sense of euphoria that I've never ever in my life ever witnessed. And I remember that day, it was like a kind of a coldish sort of day. It was a typical autumn day where the leaves were blowing and things. I was quite windy, and it was dark around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I just went for a walk. I went to the park, and I just remember there's this huge tree in this park, right? And with all these leaves were like fluttering with the wind, and I just remember standing there just staring at all the leaves and how they were fluttering and the way they were moving and the sound that it was making. And it was just like, I was just tripping out. I was like, oh, wow. I was just listening. It was like an audio hallucination. Like I could hear my senses were so sharp. The fluttering of those leaves on that tree, I could hear. Like it was like I could hear every single one, the sound each one was making, and just visually how it looked. It was just, I just taken back. And when I was walking around the park, I just felt so light. It was almost like I was floating on the ground. Like I wasn't walking, but I was floating around. And I just felt so good. And I think it took about 2 flushes where all my internal problems had completely gone. And I remember I was suffering with poor bowel movements. I was having diarrhea. I was having a lot of problems for about a year, 2 years. And as soon as I did that first liver flush, I started having normal bowel movements. And I was like, what is going on? Like, something so simple as this cleanse has got my health back. And it wasn't giving me the results I wanted for my skin per se. But internally, I would say that it definitely did something. Even on the first or second flush, I started to notice huge results. And I've done about 6 of them so far, and I keep releasing. And it's kind of funny because as I'm doing the liver flush as well, when I've taken the oil and I'm lying down, a few times I've actually felt like some stones moving in my liver. Like it's like a marbles rolling around in my liver. I can actually feel it. The liver is on the right side, just under your right rib cage, if you don't know where the liver is in the body. But yeah, it's just like, I just wanted to create this podcast just to let people know that, if you are considering, if you have done the research and you're in a situation where you're like, whoa, okay, I really want to do this, but it's probably all bullshit. It's probably fake and blah, blah, blah. It's just made up. But think about it seriously, like, these people who created these protocols and the people who are following it and telling you embark on this natural health journey, do it for your health, what motives do they have? You can't even sell a product like olive oil, Epsom salt and apple juice. You can buy your own apples from anywhere you want. You can buy olive oil from any stores, like any shops, anything. Like you can get Epsom salt from Amazon. Like I don't understand how people are saying these guys have got a motive. They want you to buy their that, their books. The book was about 10 quid on Amazon. Like the olive oil. I mean, I buy an organic olive oil to use for this. So that was what, £11 or something like that. £12 off Amazon. And then the Epsom salts was like £3-4. And it's like the apple juice. I just bought the apples and started pressing them up every day and made a liter myself. Like, who is benefiting from? Where's this conspiracy? Because the way that I see it, the medical industry is the motherfucking scam in this shit. The medical industry, you're paying £70-80, like $120 for their medications that's going to destroy your life. Like, that's the scam. That's a conspiracy. Someone telling you to get olive oil and some fucking Epsom salts and do a liver flush and have some apple juice. No one's benefiting from that. No one's taking any money from you. You can get that from anywhere. No particular individual is asking for your money to buy their supplements, to buy these things. Like, I can understand if olive oil, Epsom salt and apple juice were the most rarest things and these people were trying to sell you them and you had to buy it. It was really expensive. Like the Andreas Moritz book, like I said, it was cheap. It was 8 quid on Amazon. Free delivery. Like, I don't understand. Even if it didn't work, who cares? I was going to spend that money on stupid things anyway. But I just feel like, the liver flush is very important to the body due to bile. Now, I think everyone who has gut issues and anyone who has any sort of IBS or gut problems, the liver flush is basically, I feel like you don't have bile moving freely around your body because the stones are actually blocking the bile from going into the small intestines. Now, bile is a very important substance because it basically alkalizes you and it takes out any yeast, parasites, any crap going on in your body, anything that's not supposed to be there. It carries it out, and it's so important in digestion. I think for a long time I was so caught up on probiotics, making my own sauerkraut, making kefir, and making all these things, thinking that probiotics and these supplements, that's going to solve my health problems. And really it won't, because those things will never address the root cause, which is the bile. The bile needs to move freely in the body, and the bile is actually secreted by the liver. So I think anyone with a chronic condition, if you've done everything else, you've gone to doctors, nothing has worked, you've in a situation, I feel like you need to do series of liver flushes, and each series is about 6 to 12 flushes. And I feel like, me personally, I need to do about 2 series. Like, I don't know how many it's going to be. I know that the liver is not the key issue, the key organ in my situation, because it's definitely helped me with all my internal problems. But what I'm trying to solve now, I've healed myself, I would say about 90%. It's just very small skin issues that are still remaining, which has mainly gone. But the skin issues are due to the kidneys mainly. But the liver flushes can help as well with any skin conditions, eczema, psoriasis. To my knowledge, I've been told that people have actually healed from psoriasis and stuff just by doing liver cleanses. But one thing to bear in mind, you need to change, you need to make it a lifestyle. You need to change your entire life. You need to be doing the liver flushes. You need to be incorporating more raw foods into your diet. So vegetables, salads, fruits on their own. You need to be incorporating things in your diet that, and in your lifestyle, healthy eating, healthy habits, healthy emotional well-being, all these things, exercise. You need to make this whole thing a lifestyle, because a mistake I made was I was still eating meat, I was still eating dairy, and I was still doing liver flushes, and that's cool, but you're not gonna get the full potential result that you're gonna get if you make it a lifestyle. Some people say that the liver flushes are quite hard on your liver, like your liver is working quite hard to eliminate these stones. It's almost like a surgery in itself. And the thing is, you need to take it quite slow, maybe 1 flush every month, 1 flush every month and a half. Some people out there have told me, don't do that many flushes, you're crazy. Some other people who I'm in talks with have done 30 liver flushes. They've done so many. But I just feel like, for me personally, my focus right now is not on symptoms. My focus right now is not on anything to do with disease or anything. My focus is, the liver flushing is of one technique, one healing modality in many, like it's just one of many that need to be incorporated to clean the body out. Listen to me, if you are focusing on disease and focusing on symptoms and you got eczema and you're focusing on that, you need to get away from that thinking. I've been there, and it doesn't do anything. It makes the situation worse. And what I feel like you need to do is, you need to get your shit together, you need to ignore symptoms, and you need to focus on cleaning your body, cleaning the temple out, whether it be liver flushing, whether it be kidney cleanses, whether it be dry fasting, whether it be doing exercise, sauna, sweating the toxins out. It just needs to be a lifestyle based on not caring about your symptoms, but doing everything you can to clean your body. And when you put that as the main focus, you don't care, you don't look at anything else. You just say, I'm going to commit to this for a year or 2 years. I'm going to start cleaning up my diet. Every aspect of your life, your emotional health gets cleaned up. You might start seeking therapy. You might start looking at reading books about how to heal from emotional problems and traumas that have happened. All these things, you're basically cleaning your entire life up, and have a long-term goal of, in 2 years, I want to be healed. But you're not going to look in the mirror. You're not going to, yes, you might have pains in your body. You're not going to care about, you just focus so much on cleaning the body out. And the organs, like the liver, it needs to be cleaned out. It's very important. There's over 500 functions that the liver has. So I think it's very, very important to do as many as you can. And I think the book also states you need to do um, you need to do these flushes until you've had 2 flushes where there's no stones anymore. There's no more stones that come out. Um, and another thing, I wrote some notes down. Um, yeah, I just wanted to also make a note that most people, if you feel like you just listened to me talk and you've also maybe read up on liver flushing, you might be like, huh, I haven't got no stones in my body. That's bullshit. That's on my I had a X-ray or ultrasound, sorry, by the doctor not too long ago, and they said I just got a few gallstones in my gallbladder. Like, that's it. Now, just one thing to say about that, because that actually happened to me. I actually had an ultrasound done and they told me you have just very few gallstones, but it's not that big of an issue. The thing is, the gallstones are actually calcified. That's why they can pick them up. The ones that are really like calcified, the ones that are causing the most problem, the ones that are really big, only those get caught, get picked up on the ultrasound. Now, the liver and the gallbladder might have so many more stones trapped in there. So I just think it's very important, that I made this podcast, because I know there's people out there who are doubting the liver flush. There's people and I was one of you. I was definitely, I was there. It was only because I was really desperate. That's why I went ahead with it. But even for those who are not desperate, that are still looking at this and saying, you know what, I'm not too sure, I'm on the fence. All I would say is, in my experience, I've actually done it. I've done 6 of them so far. And all I can say is that this shit is very fucking real. This is not to be played with. Like, this is actually, don't even doubt it. When you have your experience, when you do these flushes, when you see what is coming out of you, and when you see this new sense of well-being, because a lot of our anger, a lot of negative emotions are stored in the liver. There's been certain times I've done the flush, and around about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, I feel like all these old, almost traumatic memories come to the surface out of nowhere that I haven't thought about in so many years. They all come to the surface, and then when I eliminated the stones in the morning, it's almost as if those memories were leaving my body. And I know this kind of sounds a bit woo-woo, like this sounds a bit like, oh, this hocus pocus, woo-woo crap that I'm going on about. You need to be, in order to be into natural healing, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. You need to be looking into spirituality, or you need to be looking into religion. And you need to understand that you need to have faith in these things. That, in the Western world, in the mainstream media, there is none of this magic at play. Our bodies are not told. We are not told about our human bodies. We're not told about the potential of our body. All we hear in the Western world is how bad our bodies are towards us. It's autoimmune. Your body is attacking you. Fear, fear, fear. Fear, fear based. That's all we keep. We're scared of our own bodies then. And then our health is in the hands of a greedy, drug dealing fucking doctor who don't give a fuck and who's exploiting us and telling us the wrong shit. Our body, anyone who has health problems out there, let me tell you something. If you have any chronic condition or anything, you should fucking be blessed. You should say to yourself that, you know what? God is actually empowering me to live an extraordinary life. Because I'm telling you now, I personally believe that anyone who gets these diseases, anyone who's in severe pain, anyone with chronic eczema and all these problems, who are reminded of their bad health every single day, and it's not going away, I just feel like this is a warning sign that the body is working so hard in your favor, that it's got so many obstructions inside of it that it's trying to eliminate. It's trying to keep you alive. There's nothing autoimmune and attacking itself about this situation. Your body is always there to heal you. Your body is working in your best interest. You need to have that mindset. You need to understand that the body knows exactly what to do. It knows how to heal itself. You just need to get out of the motherfucking way and give it the right shit. You need to give it the right fuel. You need to give it the right things. You need to be mentally you need to be in the right frame of mind. But this is all a journey, and we all have to start from somewhere. But this is just something that I thought I would throw out there. I want people to, even if you don't decide to do a liver flush, I just feel like even if I spark this healing modality, if I spark this in someone's head, they never heard about it before, they might go and start researching. Then it might actually heal them from their chronic illnesses and their digestive problems that they've been facing. So have a look at Andreas Moritz or Holder Clark. There's another guy as well. I think his name's Dr. Kelly something. I'm not too sure, but he's got a version of the flush. There's many different varieties, but have a look at these guys. I might even put some links in the description for the book that I had used, and maybe I might put the description of Cure Zone, the link with all the information. I can put it in the description if any of you guys want to actually check it out. If you got any questions, you can hit me up. You can send a message to my email. You can you can write any comments in the description, and when I have time, I'll respond to you guys. So thank you for listening. Again, I can't stress it enough. This is very important. Please don't take my word for anything. Do your research first. Understand exactly how this process works, and then if you believe that this is something for you, and you believe in this liver flushing, and you believe in natural cleansing, then I want you to do it with the right guidance. And like I said, follow these books, follow these people that have done it, that are proponents of it. They've done many flushes. They can guide you in these books and tell you the exact way to do it. So again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next podcast. Thank you.